Hi, welcome to JD Edwards Financial Management Training. In this video, I want to set the expectations for this course. First, who is this course for? There are 4 different kinds of people who take this course. The first group is the fresher. So, these are folks who come right out of college and then they don't have any experience, obviously. There is another group who have some level of experience but not necessarily in JD Edwards. They could be non-JD Edwards consultant, non-IT, IT professionals and professionals from any other field. And another category is JD Edwards consultant. He or she is already a JD Edwards consultant but not a finance consultant. Example, he could be procurement, sales and distribution, or CRM consultant. And finally, we have another category called the end user. These are folks who use the system. They are users of JD Edwards systems or they want to be users of JD Edwards system. They could be in any domain like finance, procurement, distribution, CRM, manufacturing, etc. This is a broad categorization on who can take this course. Now, in terms of what they need, these folks overall typically need 3 things. Number 1, business scenario. I mean, for example, in JD Edwards Finance, what is the accounting treatment of invoice received from the vendor on account of supply of goods, machinery and services? What is the accounting treatment if a discount is received from a vendor? How to give discount to the customer in case of payment before due date and how to charge interest in case of late payment? How transaction from sales order system and procurement system flow to general accounting, accounts receivable and accounts payable. These are all business scenarios. The second topic is end user transactions. Some examples of end user transactions could be how to create a debit or credit note, how to make payment, how to adjust payments received from customer to close the open invoices, how to post the transactions in the system and how to take reports. These are all end user transactions. Simply put it, this is how you execute a business scenario in JD Edwards. The third thing, of course, is the configuration. In configuration, you learn how to configure and set up JD Edwards system to suit the requirements of the business. Now, in terms of who needs what, you know a fresher who wants to be a JD Edwards consultant will need business scenarios because they are just fresh out of college. They wouldn't know how the financial management system work. So, they would need to first be taught business scenario and of course they need to be taught in these transactions because once you understand the business scenario, you would be able to do that in the system. And on top of doing it, they also need to understand how to configure the system so that user will be able to do it the way they want it. So the fresher or an experienced consultant or a JD Edwards consultant typically would require all these different things. And the end user on the other hand will need to know any transactions and maybe business scenario, but he or she doesn't need configuration. So this is the matrix of the type of people who can take this course and what they need. This course covers all 3 pieces: business scenario, end user transactions and configuration.